doing something else, that means you can't trust them, that they're not trustworthy. And that's something interesting for me also to know, like how you as a mom, moms are bringing up their kids. They're like, be good, or do this or that because God is watching. Like in your case as a mother, I would like to like really know how do you parent without God? How do you educate your children?
Yeah, that's a great question because it has changed from when I was a believer until now. And we had to have the conversation where we were like, okay, those things we taught you, we don't believe that anymore. That's not true. Here's how it really is. And I think it's been so much easier than you would think. I mean, it's much easier than to say, oh, somebody's watching you. It's less scary, especially with I have a daughter who has anxiety. To teach her that someone was watching her constantly was giving her more anxiety because she told me
So
about a
now
story.
she's good now about that. She says, "Oh, now I'm feeling better." That's good.
Yeah, so one moment she recalled when she was a believer is that she said like she like barely stuck up her middle finger. And, she felt so horrible for that for so long because she felt like God saw that, and just things like that where it's like you're beating yourself up senselessly, and
Right.
uh, also about like even sex, teaching truly the risks and ways to prevent disease and to be protected. I mean, that's way more productive than to teach
Exactly.
God wants you to.
The sexually transmitted disease, STDs, and also the part where the dangers about abuse,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes they instill this into most in girls.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like that belief was toxic for me. The whole idea of
when they have a husband
turning the
that's
other cheek and showing with
abusive,
kindness and
yeah,
always being, right under God. You do the right thing. It's like,
and
no,
yeah,
sometimes you've got to.
you have to break
Got
away from that. The children, they suffer a lot, and the women, the
Or
suffering they've gone
forgiving.
through for having to put up with so much suffering, just because it says in a book, or someone, a leader of a religion, is telling you, no, it's that's your cross. Like you need to carry that cross, and it's your
Yeah,
cross,
and submit.
and submit. Yeah, that's terrible. And I want to congratulate you.
It was very toxic, especially in my household. There was times where my husband was the one, staying home with the kids and taking on more of a traditional, woman wife, and I was the one working
Mhm.
traditional male role. And it's so like those roles didn't work for us. Like that wasn't us. That wasn't it. For me to be working and submissive and cooking and cleaning and raising the children, like that's unrealistic.
I enjoy what I do, right? I enjoy my time. I enjoy choosing for myself what I would like to do right now.
Mhm.
And if I want that, I have to provide that for others. I have to make room for others to also pick what how they want to live. So my wife, she's never here. She because she doesn't like the lifestyle of being a slave.
Mm.
With children and everything,
Oh yeah.
because they teach that in the religion also, that women are, they're responsible for everything. Like
Mm.
since Adam and Eve, the apple episode and
Right.
everything. So women are like, they have this chip that everything's their fault, but it's not. It's not easy because you're willing to have this non-traditional lifestyle where you're designing your own life. When we were growing up, let's say, like in my you look very young, and in my generation, most of the answers were like, for example, if you ask something, most of the answers were generally only God knows, or let's see what God has to say. I don't
Yeah.
know if that happened to you,
God
but
willing.
that's very
Dios
frustrating.
quiere.
Um, and
Yeah,
so
I that's one struggle I do remember is just constantly thinking, okay, well, what does God want next? And what's the next step for me, God? And waiting for the sign, and God send me a sign, or open a door, or close a door, and waiting, waiting, waiting. So yeah, definitely the control of you taking charge of your life and making choices is something that comes along with letting go of that belief.
Like the way you view the world now, what kind of books do you read, or what kind of content do you consume? Is this something you're doing just with your husband, or
Yeah, so my husband started this journey as well a few years ago, maybe a few years ago. And it probably started watching Yale and Duke courses from professors, biblical scholars, explored, evolution. And so I seek the science professionals, academic sites, evidence-based research. I I dig deep. I'm like, I want to see the evidence. I want to see exactly how you did the studies. I come from a medical background where I'm trained to analyze studies. I'm in the pharmaceutical industry.
pharmaceutical? Great.
Yes. And so with studies, people think, well, you can get any study to say anything, but that's not really the case. I mean, yes, it's true if the study is designed poorly, but if the study is designed to rule out biases and variables, then you can have a study where the numbers speak for themselves. And then along with the studies too, you have what's known. I mean, you've got to include the placebo effect, because we know it's a real thing that your brain does have the power of making you believe that you are feeling these things. And so when I'm looking at data, I'm always looking at, okay, who's the source? Okay, what are they basing this on? Okay, let me see, is this reproducible? How did they perform the studies, and what did they compare it to, and what are some of the variables that they may not have considered? So I really try to get good data, and then really, I think educating yourself on fallacies is so important, because you can easily fall subject to using poor logic, and being like, then when I really looked at the argument for Christianity and against it, then you realize for Christianity is using a lot of these poor logical fallacies. And so he really digs deep into those things and follows a lot of the scholars like Dr. Price, among many others. And so that's what we try to do, is like bring these academic sources and information and bring it to the people and kind of make it more concise, like, putting it in a list, or really talking through why those aspects of the Bible are not what they seem.
Yeah, or even just helping people to, in their own level, make it easy for other people to understand. Why is it that what they are believing is just a belief? It's not true. It's a scam. And I've looked at your videos, not your videos, but your husband's videos, and he seems to know what he's talking about when he discusses with other people. The how the interview is going and everything, which is very interesting. Um, I think I need to like look more and see like if it would be like a good idea to maybe look at the titles of your videos or of his videos